Do you like mysteries? To wander through the enigmatic mist of the inexplicable? Great. I'm Merc, and here you'll find what you're looking for. Welcome to my domains. The truth dissolves into the mist.
Here, in December of 2013, an archaeological curator named Sarah Rivers Cofield walked into an antique mall in Maine, looking for a piece of history to take home. She found a dress, a bronze-colored silk bustle gown from the 1880s, in remarkable condition, with metallic buttons, striped rust velvet accents, and a price tag of $100. Gekta. What she didn't know was that she was also purchasing one of the most mysterious unsolved codes in the world, a cryptogram that would baffle experts for over a decade. The dress itself was a textbook example of mid-18 80s fashion, meant to be worn with a corset, with a draped skirt and a puffy bustle. A handwritten tag sewn into the bodice bore the name Bennett, and Sarah lovingly nicknamed her find, Bennett's bronze bustle. But as she and her mother, her perennial antiquing partner, began to inspect the garment more closely, they discovered something deeply unusual. Tucked away in the bustle was a pocket, but this was no ordinary pocket. It was completely concealed by the overskirt, accessible only by hiking up the draped silk and disrupting the entire look of the dress. Sarah noted that, due to its design, the pocket could only be accessed without damaging the dress if no one was actually wearing it. It was a super-secret hidey-hole, a place designed for concealment, not convenience. And inside that hidden pocket she found 2 crumpled, translucent sheets of paper. Each sheet contained 12 lines of text, words that were undeniably English, yet strung together in a way that made absolutely no sense. Lines like Bismarck, omit leafage, Buckbank, and Paul Ramify Lomi, event false new event, stared back at her. A linguistic puzzle with no context, no author, and no clear purpose. Sarah was completely baffled. Her first thought was that it might be some kind of writing exercise or a list. But the secrecy of the pocket suggested something far more deliberate. In February 2014, she posted her discovery on her blog, laying the mystery bare for the world to see. I'm putting it up here in case there's some decoding prodigy out there looking for a project, she wrote. A call to arms that would echo across the internet. What she had found would soon be dubbed the Silk Dress Cryptogram and would be added to the list of the top 50 unsolved encrypted messages in the world. The post spread, and amateur sleuths, professional cryptographers, and conspiracy theorists alike took up the challenge. Wild theories flourished. Some speculated that Bennett was a spy, using coded words to communicate with handlers in a shadowy world of espionage. Others thought it might be a cryptic love note, a set of dress measurements, or even a message left over from the Civil War. A theory Sarah quickly dismissed, as the dress was from an era 2 decades after the conflict had ended. For years the code remained unbroken, a ghost from the 19th century that refused to give up its secrets. But unbeknownst to the online community, a quiet, determined researcher was about to begin a journey that would finally pull back the veil on this Victorian enigma. Wayne Chan was a data analyst at the University of Manitoba, a man who dealt in patterns and probabilities. He first encountered the silk dress cryptogram in 2018, and like many before him, he was immediately intrigued. But the task was daunting. The message was over 140 years old, and there was no direct source, no Rosetta Stone, to help decipher the telegraphic code. After a few months of fruitless effort, Chan set the project aside. The code's stubborn silence, a testament to its complexity. Then, in 2022, he returned, more determined than ever, and began a deep dive into the history of 19th century communication. He knew that the key lay not in brute force code breaking, but in historical research, in finding the specific system that had been used to create the message. Chan pored over more than 170 books related to telegraphic codes, searching for any pattern that might resemble the strange jumble of words on those 2 sheets of paper. It was a painstaking process, a search for a needle in a haystack of forgotten communication manuals. Finally, his perseverance paid off when he discovered a text that contained examples uncannily similar to the silk dress cryptogram. He had found the code book used by the U.S. Army Signal Corps, a system designed to condense weather observations into short, affordable telegrams. In the late 1800s, sending a telegram was expensive, and stations were charged by the word. To save money, meteorologists used code to compress complex weather data, reducing dozens of words into a few cryptic, seemingly nonsensical phrases. Chan realized that each coded word was not a word at all, but a placeholder for a specific piece of meteorological information. The deciphered message was a mundane, yet historically rich, weather observation. For example, the line Bismarck omit leafage Buckbank indicated a reading taken at the Bismarck station in the Dakota Territory. Omit signified an air temperature of 56 degrees and a pressure of 0.08 inches of mercury. Leafage stood for a dew point of 32 degrees, observed at 10 p.m. Buck described clear weather with no precipitation and a northerly wind. And bank indicated a wind velocity of 12 miles per hour and a clear sunset. Through his research, Chan was even able to pinpoint the exact date of the observation. May 27, 1888, the mystery of the cipher was finally solved, the seemingly random words revealing themselves as a time capsule of frontier meteorology. But for every question answered, new ones arose. Who was Bennett, and why did she have weather codes stashed in a secret pocket? The dress was machine-stitched, but its original buttons had been sewn on by hand, a detail that hints at a personal connection. Was Bennett a telegraph operator, a weather observer, or simply a woman who had come into possession of a forgotten piece of paper? And why the secrecy? Why go to the trouble of building a hidden pocket, accessible only when the dress was not being worn, to conceal something as seemingly innocuous as a weather report? The answers to those questions may be lost to time, buried with Bennett and the world she inhabited. But the silk dress cryptogram stands as a testament to the fact that history is never truly silent. It whispers to us through the objects left behind, in forgotten pockets and crumpled papers, waiting for someone patient enough to listen. The code has been cracked, but the true story of Bennett's bronze bustle, the woman who owned it and the life she lived, remains one of history's most elegant and enduring mysteries.
Did you like this mystery? And what is your theory? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed it, then like and share. I'm Merc, and I'll be waiting for you in the next mystery.